All right, well, thanks everybody for being here. It's hard for me to tell how many people are here, but it looks like a whole lot. And so what we wanted to do today was just give you an idea of a little bit of an idea of what it's like to do a STEM major at Maryville College, and also ahead of you meeting with your first year advisors to do spring schedules, give you a little sense of the courses that will keep you on track for graduation, what courses are kind of critical, and what courses might be things you can wait on if you need to. Okay, so the first thing, oh, I'm clicking in the wrong place. The first thing to think about is why do you want to major in STEM? And the answer is there are really a lot of good reasons. Of course, those of us who work in STEM think it's the best ever. We all love what we're doing, and that's why we're doing it. The main reason you should be majoring in STEM is because you like it. It's interesting, it's exciting, you enjoy doing it. I've heard a lot of math professors say they chose to major, or math people, generally math people say they chose to major in math because that was the homework they wanted always to work on first. So because they liked it so much, that was what they wanted to do. So that's the main first reason you should think about. The other thing to think about is that there are lots of different career options in STEM, and so you should be aware of them. I know a lot of you are probably thinking vet school, med school, engineering, all of those are great options, but there's a whole lot of other options out there for people who are trained in these fields. And so be open to them. Look around at what your peers are doing for internships, look around in the world and see who's working in these fields. And we offer some events that can help you get a window into that. So be aware of that. In fact, I believe next Tuesday, I'll be sending something out about that. Our math, we're having a panel of math alumni, none of whom are teachers. None of whom are teachers going to talk about what they do. So there's lots of different options for folks who want to do that. I'm not sure who's not muted out there, but somebody is not muted and is talking. It's Cordell. Yeah. Thank you. That's perfect. Okay. Also, of course, we all know STEM majors can make you a good amount of money. So that's another good reason to major in STEM, although it's not the only reason, because it is a challenging thing to do, and you have to kind of love it to really want to do it. Okay. So if you're thinking, oh, STEM is the way to a good job, it is a way to a good job. Doing well in any major at Maryville College will lead to a wonderful career. So don't feel like that's all you can do to do well. Really, if you're using your interests and talents, you will do well. Okay, so what do you expect as a STEM major at the college? Our majors are rewarding, but they're also challenging. So you should expect to have to work pretty hard. Okay.
Dr. Siopsis, we can't see the slides. They're not in presentation mode. So we still see the first slide.
Oh dear. I'm sharing the wrong thing. Where am I? Hang on. Here I am. There you go. Is that better?
Better, yes, thank you.
Sorry, I'm muted. I've unmuted you and I'm just not sharing the right thing. Okay, so now we're good. All right, so rewarding and challenging, okay? Expect to have to work hard. I think a lot of students, when they, especially first year students, when they get in their first year STEM classes and they're really having to work hard, they think that must mean that they're not meant for this. This is not true. Everybody has to work hard in these majors, so that is not a bad sign. Needing to work is not a bad sign at all. You do have to understand, though, that the majors are sequential, so you do have to be successful in intro courses to go on to the next course. And not only should you be successful, but you should be aiming for deep learning. Deep learning means you're going to retain the content and skills to use the next time around. You're going to be able to use those skills when you're needed to use them the next time in the next class that you take. And because of that, a C- or better is what you should have before you move on to the next course. And in fact, I believe, Dr. Gibson, can you help me here? The natural sciences requires a C-.
Yes. So we now require a C- or better in just about every prereq to move on to the next class. So, you know, so if you think, well, I passed, I got a D, you did pass, but you're not ready to move on to the next class. So, yeah, so we require C- or better.
Yeah, and I will tell you, the math folks feel exactly the same way, even if we haven't made it a rule. We advise students all the time, hey, don't move on to the next thing if you haven't gotten at least a C-, and ideally even better, to go on to the next course. So be aware of that. Check your prerequisites. Make sure you have the prereq before you sign up for a course, because prereq material is actually prereq for a reason. Also, you want to be careful about dropping introductory courses in your first year, because that can mean it can be a different path to graduation, and sometimes it can take longer. So before you drop a course, make sure you've looked at what that will mean for the rest of your time in terms of prerequisites and your path through the major. Of course, if it's really, I mean, there are good reasons to drop courses too. So we don't want you to stay for whatever reason, but we do want you to think very hard about what you're dropping and what you're keeping. And you can definitely expect courses to increase in their expectations and difficulty. So at the same time as courses are getting harder, you are getting more skilled. And so while they get harder, you also are able to handle it better, I think. Okay. What if you are struggling in your intro courses right now? First of all, everybody struggles in their intro courses. So that's pretty normal. Maybe not everybody, but many students have to work really hard. They have to go to office hours. They have to do all kinds of things. So you need to ask for help. There are all kinds of help available for you if you haven't already been bombarded with the fact that we offer a lot of support for our students. Of course, the Academic Support Center, which I believe is virtual, SI, your faculty members' office hours, your peers working together with people who are also in the class together, and the STEM Success Center, which is not virtual and open Sunday through Thursday from 6 to 9. We have tutors in there who are really successful upper level math and science students. They can not only help you with content specifically, but they can help you with strategy. And a lot of times strategy is just as important as understanding concept, is understanding how to work efficiently and effectively in these classes. It's not going to get easier, like I said, but it is going to be more manageable if you're doing it right. And one of the things you have to think about if you're struggling is this still interesting, exciting, and rewarding to you, even though it's hard work? If it is, great. That is perfect. You should give these majors a chance, even if you're struggling, but you should also have a plan B. So with my advisees, I often have a second major that people are able to fall into. So think about that. If I weren't going to major in biology, say, what would be my plan B major, and start building towards that. If you're not struggling and you feel confident about the major you've chosen, then you should follow the paradigm. Our paradigms are all on the website. You can get a hold of them easily. Those are great guides as to what courses to take in what order. And you should probably take a course that you find interesting outside of STEM too. We want you to be people who are really well-trained STEM professionals, but we also want you to understand other things about the world. So take things that are interesting to you.
That's our math teacher.
Guys, I got so hey, Cameron, can you mute, please?
Can we mute the person, or we can't? I think I can. I have the power. I muted her. We can, I don't know if you can, Dr. Gibson, but I just muted. Okay. Now there's somebody else. Okay. If you're deciding between STEM majors, a lot of times there's overlap between the first year. So look at those paradigms and try to choose the courses that overlap, making sure that you're getting the critical courses in both majors. And we're going to talk about that. If you're deciding among STEM majors, then we suggest you prioritize major courses over non-STEM core courses. So build those two majors at the beginning, and then you'll choose one, or you may double major if you have time, but you can add your general ed later. If you are deciding between STEM and non-STEM or need a plan B, you need to take the crucial courses to STEM in your first year because they're sequential. So if you want to keep that door open without having to take extra time, you should follow our advice today, which is going to be on the next few slides. And you should then prioritize any other major courses, like if you have a plan B major over your core courses, okay? Or look for overlap. All right, so those are our kind of general guidelines for thinking about how you want to build your first year. I'm going to talk specifically about majors in the Division of Math and Computer Science, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Gibson, who's going to talk about life sciences and chemistry, natural sciences. So first year courses in our division, we have 5 majors: math for licensure, engineering, business analytics, and computer science. One thing to notice is these first 3, they all need you to take 2 semesters in the sequence, wherever you are in the sequence: college algebra, pre-calculus, calculus 1, calculus 2. You should take 2 semesters in that sequence, no matter what, in any of those 3 majors. For the math major, you can take Intro to Computer Science in the first year, and that will be really good for you. For licensure, you need Psych 101. If you're still between licensure and something else, it's best to take the Psych anyway. It will count as a Gen Ed requirement. For engineering, because you have to do 3, every year you do a lab sequence in fall and spring. So if you need Chem 111, you should take that absolutely in your first year. And then if you don't need Chem 111, you can choose either between Chemistry 121, 122, the Chem sequence, or Computer Science 111, 112, the Computer Science sequence. If you are considering a major in computer science, then you prioritize computer science. If you're considering a major in the natural sciences, then I would prioritize chemistry. If you're considering math as an option, then again, computer science. So there's some different wiggle rooms in there, and I'm happy to talk to anyone about those things specifically. If you want to set a meeting with me later, that'd be fine. For business analytics, it's a little more open-ended. We definitely need you to have quant lit or place out of it and pre-calculus in your first year. And if you can, take any one of these or all these courses, depending on how much you know you want to do business analytics, or you are thinking about these other classes. Okay, and computer science just requires the intro computer science. So I went through those fast. We will post these slides somewhere, and then we'll email them to the folks who are in here because I'm going through them fast. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Gibson now and have her talk about natural sciences.
Okay, guys, so in natural sciences, we offer several majors: biology, biochemistry, and chemistry, for sure. And within all 3 of those, we offer both a BA and a BS option. And one of the most common questions I get, aside from should I choose biochemistry or biology, chemistry, or is BA or BS. Honestly, either one is a good choice. The BA in any of those majors gives you more flexibility if you want to study abroad, if you want to double major, if you are a Bonner Scholar and have a lot of service hours, if you are really interested in doing a couple of minors or getting some certifications. In those cases, I would recommend the BA because it's going to give you more flexibility, but will cover all the core content in the natural sciences in whichever field you're interested in. It will take care of that for you. If you are not planning to do any of those things like double major or study abroad for a semester, or you don't have really, really exceptionally heavy outside work or service commitments or sports commitments, then the BS option is a really good option also. The BS in any of those 3 fields is going to require that you take more science classes. And most of those science classes are in the junior or senior year, but in order for you to be able to take those in the junior senior year, it's going to require that you be successful earlier in the introductory classes. So there's less wiggle room with the BS essentially, but either one is a good option. I don't think I know of any alumni who've written back and said, I couldn't get into medical school because I had a BA instead of a BS. And a lot of times I think students choose the BS because they perceive that it's more challenging and more rigorous and maybe more prestigious. But honestly, if you're not doing well, that none of those things really matter. So a BA is a perfectly good choice and can set you up for just about anything you want to do. Let me talk you through just the differences in these. So for biology BS, in the first year, it's really essential it's really essential that you take biology 113 or biology 115, both if possible. If you didn't get one or the other, it's possible to still follow up, but you probably should prioritize bio 113 over 115 in the first year if possible. You should take Chem 111 if you need it. All right. And in order to graduate on time, and so that's something that you should always be thinking about is like, how can I still graduate on time? Because many of you likely will have some missteps and things will, you'll need to repeat a course or you'll need to withdraw from a course. That doesn't necessarily mean it delays you. So here's how you can know if you're on track to graduate on time. If you have successfully completed these classes, biology 113, which is organismal biology, biology 115, which is cell biology, biology 221, which is genetics, and then chemistry 121 and 122 by the end of the sophomore year, you can finish up a biology BS on time without doing any summer work or any additional coursework. The biology BA, again, we're going to ask you in the first year, you really should take biology 113 and 115. If you can't get both in, it's probably better to take biology 113 and then you can defer biology 115 to sophomore year. Chemistry 111 if you need it. And then again, in order to graduate on time, and here's where you'll see there's a little bit more flexibility. Succeed, and what I mean by succeed is make a C- or better, right? C- or better in biology 113, biology 115, biology 221 by the end of your sophomore year. And then you've got a little bit more flexibility. So if chemistry is really hard for you, a biology BA may be a better option because you've got more time. As long as you pass all of chemistry 121 and 122 by the end of your senior year, you can still graduate on time with a biology BA. All right. So biochemistry, again, we have a BA and a BS option. For chemistry, really important that this year you take chemistry 111 if you need it, all right? If you placed into chemistry 121 and 122, that's where you should be, and you need to have a goal of completing those by the end of the first year. If you're doing a BS, by the end of sophomore year for sure, if you're doing a BA. Biology 115, cell biology, is the other class that you need in your first year, and you can take it either semester. So if you're not in it now, you can easily take that in the spring. If for some crazy turn of events you don't get biology 115 this spring, it's not absolutely detrimental. If you need to wait, you just want to make sure you take it next fall. But ultimately, those are the classes, chemistry 121, 122, and bio 115 that you want to try to take care of this year. Again, in order to finish on time for a BA, we just want to see that you have made a C- or better in all of the chemistry sequence and in biology 115 by the end of the sophomore year. You can still graduate on time with a biochem BA that way. Biochem BS, you need to have completed chemistry 121, 122, bio 115, again, made a C- or better by the end of this year. All right. So if you are not currently in chemistry 121 and 122, then obviously you can't make a C- in those or better by the end of this year. And so that doesn't necessarily mean you can't complete a BS, but it would probably mean that you're going to need to take some coursework elsewhere or do some additional makeup work somehow. Okay. Chemistry BA and chemistry BS. Again, what we're going to see here is that chemistry is definitely prioritized, and then math. So for chemistry BA, Chem 111 this year if you need it. If you're already in chemistry 121 and 122, all the better. Try to get that C- or better in both of those classes. And then in order to graduate on time, you need to have passed Chemistry 121 and 122 by the end of your sophomore year. For the Chemistry BS, you really need to have completed those classes successfully by the end of this year, along with at least the first of the calculus classes, so Math 125. Again, it's not completely impossible for you to complete the BS on time if you wait on chemistry until next year, but it sure does make it hard, and you're taking a lot of risk and likely to have to take summer classes or take classes elsewhere in order to finish on time. Okay. Many of you I know are going to be interested in pre-dentistry, pre-PA, pre-pharmacy, pre-med, pre-vet. For those, you've actually got lots of different options. There's no specific major for any of those that you have to be in. I'll give you some recommendations just for efficiency, and it's not because I'm the biochemistry professor, but it is very true. All of these majors, or all of these career paths, dental, PA, pharmacy, med, all of them require you to take an entrance exam, and also to require that you have satisfied several prerequisites to get into school. And most of those prerequisites include at least up to the first semester of biochemistry, right? So a biochemistry major is sort of already built to include most of those prereqs for most of those programs. So it's a good option. If you are sure that you do not want to take a gap year between college and grad school, biochemistry BS is probably our recommended option. Biochemistry BA, students who do that one often find, especially if they're taking biochemistry their senior year, they're not ready to take the MCAT, or they're not ready to take the PCAT, or whatever the entrance exams are in the summer before their senior year, and so consequently they take a gap year, and that's okay. This is not a race. If you're pre-med, honestly, any major can work. It's a little bit harder to be pre-dental, pre-PA, or pre-pharm and do another major, but if you're pre-med, pretty much any major can work. The thing to be aware of is that you've got to prepare for the MCAT, and you've got to have the prerequisite classes for the medical programs you're interested in. And most of those, again, are going to require chemistry all the way up through biochemistry, biology up through genetics, 2 semesters of physics, sociology, and psychology. Again, biochemistry is the one at our school that most naturally sort of includes those things, but you really truly can major in history as long as you're taking these other classes, or you can major in psychology, or whatever is interesting to you. You can major in that as long as you get all these prereqs in and do well enough in your classes to do well on the MCAT. For pre-vet, again, any of the majors can work. Most of our students, I would say pretty much every student I've known who has gone to vet school has either majored in biology or biochemistry. Those who don't want a gap year, the best case scenario, or the easiest path, the most efficient path for them is going to be the biology BS. If you're okay with a gap year, then biology BA is a good option, or a biochemistry BA also can be a good option for vet school. I know a lot of you are really interested in the accelerated programs. And so know that the accelerated programs are one path to pharmacy school or veterinary school. They're not the only path. They're not the most common path. And they are for sure the most rigorous path, in that we really are condensing 3.5 semesters of Maryville College coursework into 3.5 years of Maryville College coursework into 3 years in these accelerated programs. The way they work is you take 3 years of classes here at Maryville College, then you apply to veterinary school or pharmacy school at the programs that we have agreements with. If you get accepted, and you're going to get accepted only if your grades are really good, right? If you get accepted, then the first year of those programs can count towards fulfilling your bachelor's degree here at Maryville College, and then plus it's also counting towards the first year of those graduate programs. These are very accelerated programs. The only possible way you can finish them in 3 years is if you can make a C- or better in Chemistry 121 and 122 this year. So if you're not in Chemistry 121 or 122, you can still go to vet school. You can still go to pharmacy school. You're not going to be able to do it on the accelerated program unless you're okay with taking summer classes somewhere else. All right, so that's essentially the thing. Here's the thing to know, though. This is not a race. You certainly can save possibly a semester of tuition or a year of tuition, possibly if you do these programs. But know that we have a 100% acceptance rate to pharmacy school through our traditional degree programs, and that's biology and biochemistry. We've actually only had one student who's done the accelerated program. She was very hardworking and really able to handle all that rigor in the accelerated nature of the program. A lot of our other students were actually very hardworking and able to handle the rigor, but they just decided they wanted their life to be a little bit less stressful, or they decided they really loved college and wanted to have 4 years here instead of just 3. And so that's the reason a lot of them opted. But we've had a 100% success rate into vet school. I'd say about an 80% success rate of students who've applied to vet school getting in through our traditional programs. And I've only, honestly, I think we've only had one person who's gone on the accelerated degree path, and that was before we actually had it officially. And it's a whole big long story, but accelerated programs really great if you can devote a tremendous amount of time to doing the work, but they're pretty challenging. So we've given you just tons of information. I can't imagine that you have digested all of that, but hopefully it gives you some thoughts about, okay, here's the classes that I need to prioritize. Here's how I can think about the decision-making process. Your academic advisor is absolutely your best source of information. Many of you have academic advisors who are not in STEM, and just like when I have first year seminar students who are in a different division than I'm used to, I often reach out to the faculty in those divisions for help. Your academic advisors may do that for us, or you are welcome to reach out for us, but know that your academic advisor is really the person that you need to be talking to about what your goals and aspirations are. We are just a supplemental source of here's how it works in the natural sciences. There's lots of information available to you on the Maryville College website, including required courses in the paradigm. So we definitely ask you to use it. You can always just Google Maryville College Biology, Maryville College Pre-Vet, Maryville College Computer Science, and that will take you to the web pages where the information for all those majors are stored. And so you definitely want to do that. The other thing, please get to know the junior and senior STEM majors. They are such a good source of information, and they all are folks who have, first of all, probably struggled in lots of the ways that you may be struggling right now. And so they can give you lots of good insight. They can give you encouragement. They can give you a little bit of a sounding board and say sometimes where's the line? Where do you need to draw the line between what's an acceptable amount of struggle and what's not? Do know that no one does this alone. You will do best in all of these classes if you have support from the resources the college provides, from your peers, and ultimately from your professors. So take advantage of that. We're here to help you. We want to help you. That said, a couple of things, just a reminder, we've mentioned this before. Hopefully you're all taking advantage of SI in any of your math or science classes for which SI is available. Hopefully you're taking advantage of that. But also there's STEM Success Tutoring. You can go to that anytime. Sutton, room 233 from 6 to 9 p.m., Sundays through Thursdays. Every night there's a different set of tutors there. And those are tutors who are juniors or seniors who have done well in STEM classes. And so they can help you out. And then there's also Miss Lindsay Walton, who runs the STEM Success Center, and she's really great about giving advice about time management, about life management, about study skills, all kinds of things. So it's a really great resource. You can go there anytime. The schedule is listed, and again, we'll post these slides so you guys can have access to them. Another couple of resources we want you to be aware of. The Scott Science Scholars Program hosts the STEM Success Series, and that's on Tuesdays, typically at this time. We have these, and this year it's all on Zoom, and we have different STEM professionals who are coming in and talking about their career path. That can be a really great opportunity for you guys to learn about, because I know when I started college, I only knew that there were doctors and pharmacists and engineers. I had no idea what somebody with a STEM major might actually do. And so we try to bring in folks who have really interesting careers and really interesting career paths, and oftentimes folks who maybe struggled some, so that you can see that there's lots of options. So coming up, our next one, and I don't know if I can read this because I don't have my glasses, but it's Diane Johnson, and she's a public health, or has a master's degree in public health. And so that is on October 6th, I think, at 12:30. And then after that, Dr. Stacy Clark, and she will be coming and talking about a career in conservation and forestry. So those are coming up. And then one last thing to share with you is we also have the Laser Center. And so that office, I cannot remember the location, but you can email us to get information about the location. But the Laser Center, especially virtual this year anyway, but is there to actually coordinate interactions between STEM majors and the Career Center, or tutoring, or whatever kind of, if they're interested in getting research experience or any of those sorts of things, the Laser Center can help coordinate that. And so if you are interested in meeting with Lindsay Walton, who runs the Laser Center, we can set up a virtual meeting for you to do that, and you can talk to her about different opportunities to do that. I think that's all I have, Dr. Siopsis.
Yeah, I'm wondering if folks have questions, or do people have questions?
And if you have questions and you want to type them into the chat, you could do it that way.
Yep.
Or you can just ask. Anyone from any faculty member in math and computer sciences or in natural sciences would be happy to answer your questions about majors. Again, we really encourage you to talk first to your academic advisor, talk over your plans. You can let them know what you've learned here. You can share these slides with them. But you should definitely be talking most closely with them. But if you do have some questions that they can't answer, or they say, I'm not, I don't know enough about that career path, you definitely reach out to folks in the divisions of natural sciences or math and computer science, and we can help you.
Dr. Gibson, there's a question about the pre-farm program and how long that's been around.
It has been around for I want to say 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. And wow. We only had one student who did it, although I will say every year we send probably 2 students to pharmacy school. So most of our students who've gone on have gone on through the regular program and not through the accelerated. Someone asked, I was not able to make the whole meeting. Will these slides be posted? They will. I'm not exactly sure where. We'll probably just put a link up to the video YouTube for this, but we'll also figure out a way to post the slides somewhere that you guys can all have access. Maybe we'll just email out a Google link to you or something.
Yeah, we'll do that, because I think those tables are the best part.
And then someone says, everyone can attend these STEM Success, even if they're not a Scott Science Scholar. Absolutely, we would love to have you. They're all virtual this year, so they're super easy to attend. And they're usually at this time, 12:25 to 1:15. Doesn't prevent you from going to chapel if you want to do that. You can eat while you watch. And then if you can't make it, but you're still interested, we actually have recordings of them that we're posting on our YouTube channel. And so we can send out information about that. All over Sutton Science Center, there's flyers about these STEM Success events, but we also publicize them on our Scott Science Scholars Facebook page, and also the big TV. Have you guys seen the big TV in Sutton Science Center on the second floor? On the second floor of the big TV, it constantly scrolls announcements about what's coming up. But anyone is welcome to come to the STEM Success Center or to the STEM Success Series seminars.
Yeah, Marjorie might have been asking about tutoring part of STEM Success. So I just want to make sure that is in person, not virtual. Although I believe there's also an online component to it if people don't want to come or can't come in person. And yes, that is open to anyone who is in a STEM course, anybody, major or not, freshman or not. Anybody's welcome to go. Every night there is somebody who can help with math or chemistry or biology. Most nights there's somebody who can help with computer science. You can, you can ask if you're worried about which nights to go. You can ask, and Lindsay or I can tell you which night is best for you for computer science. Let's see. What else?
Would getting involved in the laser program help with getting S-cubed leadership requirements? Yes, it's a way to find out about that. So just check in with Lindsay. That's probably the easiest way about what's coming up. But yeah, that's a perfect option. So getting a BA in STEM with study abroads and minors can be just as influential as a BS. Absolutely. And increasingly, especially from medical school, they are looking for candidates who have a breadth of knowledge, not just candidates who've done really well, exceptionally well in their science classes. They want folks who can speak, who can interact with people, who have had experiences abroad. So absolutely, a BA with study abroads and minors can be just as influential as the BS. These Zoom recordings through emails, or do I need to go to the Facebook page? They will be posted in lots of different places, but we will send an email out to everybody who logged on here at any point so that you have the link.
Isn't it a YouTube channel that we put them all on? We have our own YouTube channel.
Yes. But I don't know the name of it.
I'm trying to get to it, okay. And I might be able to put in a link.
Oh, for the accelerator program, what are a few of the pre-farm partners with Miracle College? We have 3. The University of Tennessee, ETSU, Bill Gatton College of Pharmacy, that's our newest one, and then we have a long-standing one with Stanford University in Alabama. So those are the schools. Is physics required for pre-med, and is there an intro class that has to be taken before any other physics class? Physics is required for most, you need to have it for the MCAT, and then you also need it for most medical programs. And the prereq for physics, I am pretty sure, is you need to have made a C- or better in Math 115. All right. You all have really great questions.
Yeah.
Good on you guys for just even being here today. That's fabulous. I hope we're answering your questions and this is useful to you.
Yeah, and just because I know engineering usually has some questions, want people to know too, engineering is a dual degree, meaning you have to transfer to do to finish your engineering courses. So it's 3+2. I was talking to somebody the other day in my office, and I just want people to know that there is often another path to engineering that includes doing a 4-year major here, and then instead of transferring as an undergraduate, going into a master's program in engineering. That is also possible for certain kinds of engineering, not so much for others. So I can certainly talk through that with you if the whole transfer thing is not attractive to you, something to think about.
I am still looking for the We Are for our STEM YouTube channel. I don't know.
I can get to some things, but I can't get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to a recording, but I can't get to the actual channel. So we actually are taking attendance here while you're sitting here, and we'll be able to have an email list of all of you. So we will send a link to the YouTube channel as soon as we have it.
Yeah, and I probably have it buried in an email somewhere and I just didn't pull it up, but we will get that information out to you as soon as possible. Other questions you guys have? Okay, well.
And I'm just going to speak for myself and not the natural sciences folks here. if you are considering a major in engineering, I would strongly suggest that you talk to me or email me before you sign up for classes for spring. Just run by me what you're planning to take, what you've taken, and what you're planning to take, just so we're sure you're on track. Because it's kind of like those accelerated programs in that we're trying to squish a bunch of things into 3 years. So be better if you shot me an email or came by my office or my Zoom office to ask about that.
Right.
Oh, I have the link to the YouTube channel.
Oh, excellent. Maybe you can just put it in the chat. And
yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just in time. Okay. Everybody's questions answered? Looks like it.
All right.
Good to see some faces.
Thank you guys for joining us. Let us know how we can help.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.